Some stories leave scars on a community. They are whispered in the streets, remembered at night, and passed on like warnings. This is one such story, the story of Ijeoma Okafor, a young bride-to-be. Her wedding was only days away, her gown was ready, her future was bright. But 7 days before her big day, Ijeoma vanished. And when she was finally found, it was not at the altar. Before we dive into Ijeoma's story, the enugu bride who disappeared, please tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Your voice matters, and together we keep these stories alive. Hit the like and subscribe button to support Naija Noir, so we can keep bringing you more true stories like this one. Ijeoma was 27 years old, a final-year medical student at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. Her friends described her as gentle, soft-spoken, the kind of person who carried peace with her. Her parents called her doctor even before she graduated. That's how proud they were. She dreamed of working in pediatrics, helping children, healing lives. Her life was full of promise. She had supportive parents, close friends, and a community that loved her. And like many young women, she dreamed of love, of marriage, of starting a family. In her room, a white gown hung, carefully chosen for her wedding day. It was a symbol of joy, of the bright future that seemed only days away. But that same gown would later take on a much darker meaning. At another wedding, months earlier, Ijeoma met Chuka. He was older, confident, stylish, the kind of man who turned heads when he entered a room. He drove a Lexus, spoke with charm, and he knew exactly how to get attention. For Ijeoma, sheltered and serious, Chuka was exciting. He called her his queen and showered her with compliments. When he asked for her number, she hesitated, but gave it anyway. From that night, her life began to change. Chuka swept Ijeoma into a whirlwind romance. Dinner dates at expensive restaurants, weekend trips, lavish gifts. He promised her forever, told her she was the woman he had been waiting for. But her friends worried. They whispered that the relationship was moving too quickly. They noticed how she laughed less, how she was always on her phone. And then came the bruises. Small at first, on her arm, on her wrist. Bruises she brushed off with weak excuses. Yet she stayed. Because love can blind even the brightest among us. Only 4 months after they met, Chuka proposed. Not in a grand public way, but in a quiet hotel room. Ijeoma said yes. Whether out of love or out of fear, we may never know. Her parents worried. They knew something didn't feel right. However, in a culture where marriage is viewed as a milestone and family honor is tied to weddings, their concerns were overshadowed by the excitement of an upcoming union. So they swallowed their doubts. And the wedding date was set, December 17th. On December 10th, just 1 week before her wedding, Ijeoma left her family home to see Chuka. That night, neighbors saw her step into his black Lexus. It was the last time anyone saw her alive. By morning, her phone was switched off. Calls went unanswered. Her seat at home was empty. When her parents asked Chuka where she was, he claimed they had argued. He said she stormed out. But her handbag and her phone were still in his apartment. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Her family raised the alarm. They printed posters with her picture and went from street to street, market to market, asking if anyone had seen their daughter. Her mother broke down on live television, begging for her return. The image of a grieving mother, clutching her daughter's photo, spread like wildfire. On social media, the hashtag began to trend. Find Ijeoma Okafor. Everyone was talking about her disappearance. But Chuka? He was calm. Too calm. While the family cried and searched, he sat in bars, sipping drinks as if nothing had happened. 17 days after Ijeoma went missing, hunters in Udi Forest stumbled upon a shallow grave. The soil looked disturbed. something felt off. When the police arrived and dug, what they uncovered broke hearts. Wrapped in Ankara cloth lay Ijeoma's body. Her face was bruised. Her neck bore the marks of strangulation. She had fought. Her fingernails were broken. She tried to survive, but she couldn't. And back at home, her white wedding gown still hung in her room, waiting for a day that would never come. Chuka was arrested. At first, he denied everything, but under questioning, the truth came out. That night, Ijeoma had told him she wanted to postpone the wedding. She wanted more time. He refused. They argued, and in his anger, he strangled her. Then he drove her body into the Udi forest, dug a shallow grave, and left her there. The next day, while her family searched, Chuka updated his WhatsApp status. It read, "Real men never break." A cruel brag, hiding the horror of what he had done. The courtroom was packed when Chuka stood trial. He claimed it was manslaughter, said he never meant to kill her. But the evidence told another story. The judge called him a coward. He was sentenced to life in prison. Outside the court, women gathered holding placards. They read, "Justice for Ijeoma." Her story became more than one family's tragedy. It became a symbol of the dangers women face when love turns violent. Inside the courtroom, her mother wept, because no sentence, no punishment, could bring her daughter back. Ijeoma was laid to rest in the same gown she had chosen for her wedding. The gown that was meant for joy became her shroud. Her classmates held a vigil in her honor. Candles lit up the night. Songs of mourning filled the air. Her story shook the community. It was whispered in the streets and homes. It became a warning. Because love, true love, is not control. Love is not an obsession, and love should never kill. Ijeoma's gown was meant for a wedding. Instead, it became her shroud, her laughter, her future, stolen by the very man who promised her love. Her story is not just about a young woman who lost her life. It is about silence, about obsession, about a society that too often looks away until it is too late. And so we ask, how many more Ijeomas must there be before we learn that love should never hurt, and it should never kill? This is Naija Noir. Real crimes, real people, real Nigeria. Subscribe and join us as we shine a light on the darkest shadows, so that maybe, just maybe, stories like Ijeoma's will not be repeated.